Good morning students. Today we are going to see about respiratory system part 9. Diffusion of gases. Diffusion is the process in which exchange of fluid or gases occur through semi-permeable membrane. So diffusion is the process in which exchange of fluid or gases occur through semi-permeable membrane. Which membrane? Semi-permeable membrane. What process occur in this place? Exchange of fluid or gases. This is process by diffusion. So, diffusion is the process in which exchange of fluid or gases occur through semi-permeable membrane. This exchange occurs from high pressure towards low pressure. This means diffusion of gases or fluids exchange occurs from high pressure towards lower pressure. In diffusion of gases, the gases are exchanged between alveoli and the atmosphere. Diffusion of gases, the gases are exchanged between alveoli and atmosphere. Internal alveoli, external atmosphere. In between alveoli and atmosphere, exchange of gases. This process by diffusion. When inside alveolar pressure is less, then gases move from atmosphere into the lungs called inspiration. So, inside alveolar pressure is less, then gases move from atmosphere into the lungs. Atmosphere into the lungs called inspiration. But when inside alveolar pressure is more, then gases moves from alveoli to the atmosphere called expiration. So, inspiration and expiration meaning. When pressure gets equalized, it is called pause. Atmospheric nitrogen has no use in our body. So, it remains as such during inspiration and expiration. Okay. It is the external respiration. It is the exchange of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen between air in the alveoli of lungs and blood in the pulmonary capillaries. Okay, exchange of gases. What are all the gases? Carbon dioxide and oxygen. So between this place and that place, air in the alveoli of lungs and blood in the pulmonary capillaries. Lungs, alveoli, pulmonary capillaries, blood. So alveoli and blood between exchange of carbon dioxide O2. This is called external respiration. It is the exchange of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen between air in the alveoli of lungs and blood in the pulmonary capillaries. It results in conversion of deoxygenated blood coming from the heart to oxygenated blood. It results in conversion of deoxygenated blood. Conversion of deoxygenated blood coming from the heart to oxygenated blood. Converted deoxygenated blood to oxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood from which place? Heart to the oxygenated blood. Okay. This blood again returns to heart after oxygenation. Deoxygenated blood enter into the alveoli of lungs. Purification occur or oxygenated blood returns to heart after oxygenation. Okay, the venous blood that reaches the lungs has passed from all the tissues of the body. Venous blood that reaches the lungs. So, venous blood are of deoxygenated blood that reaches the lungs and pass from all the tissues of the body to oxygenated blood. It contains high level of carbon dioxide and low level of oxygen. The carbon dioxide diffuses from venous blood drawn its concentration gradient into the alveoli until equilibrium with the alveolar air is reached. The carbon dioxide diffuses from venous blood drawn. Its concentration gradient into the alveoli. Venous blood means high rich in carbon dioxide. gradient into the alveoli until equilibrium with alveolar air is reached. So gradient pressure is equilibrium with alveolar air is reached. By the same process, oxygen diffuses from the alveoli into the blood. By the same process, oxygen diffuses from the alveoli into the blood. The blood flows slowly through the capillaries. Blood flows slowly through the capillaries. It increases the time of diffusion. When blood leaves the alveolar capillaries, the oxygen and carbon dioxide concentration are in equilibrium with those of alveolar air. Blood leaves the alveolar capillaries. Oxygenated blood. The oxygen and carbon dioxide concentration are in equilibrium with those of alveolar air. Internal respiration. Internal respiration, that means the blood having its hemoglobin is saturated with oxygen. So blood having its hemoglobin. Blood having more hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is saturated with oxygen, oxyhemoglobin. It circulates throughout the body. Finally, it reaches to the capillary bed where the blood is moving extremely slowly. So, blood is having hemoglobin with saturated with oxygen, that is called oxyhemoglobin. It circulates throughout the body. Finally, it reaches the capillary bed where the blood is moving extremely slowly. The tissue cells takes oxygen from rich hemoglobin. Tissue cells take oxygen from the rich hemoglobin. It enables oxidation to go on. The blood receives in exchange with the waste product of oxidation, that is called carbon dioxide. The blood receives in exchange with the waste product of oxidation. So, blood received in rich hemoglobin means oxyhemoglobin in tissues. But this process enables the oxidation to go on. The blood receives the exchange with the waste product of oxidation is called carbon dioxide. Then, air entering the alveoli is warm and humidified. The expired air is saturated with water vapor. In this, blood is also exchanged through diffusion. Expired air is saturated with water vapor. In this, blood is also exchanged through diffusion. Next, transport of gases in the bloodstream. Transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide is essential for internal respiration to occur. Transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide is essential for internal respiration to occur. What purpose essential for transport or diffusion of gases? That means internal respiration. This is essential for gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. So, transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide is essential for internal respiration to occur. When oxygen and carbon dioxide to enter the blood, certain physical and chemical changes occur that aid in gas transport and exchange. Gas transport or exchange, what are the factors influence or help this process, diffusion process? Okay, that means carbon dioxide and oxygen enter the blood, certain physical or chemical changes occur. So, carbon dioxide or oxygen enter into the alveoli from alveoli to atmosphere or atmosphere to alveoli of lungs. That physical and chemical changes occur that aid in gas transport and exchange. Oxygen transport. Oxygen does not dissolve in water, so only little oxygen, about 1.5%, is carried in the dissolved state. So oxygen does not dissolve in water. Oxygen only saturated with hemoglobin, not in water. So only little oxygen, about 1.5%, is carried in the dissolved state. Hemoglobin consists of a protein called globin. There is an iron-containing pigment portion called heme. Each hemoglobin molecule has 4 heme groups. So, each hemoglobin molecule has 4 heme groups. Each molecule joined with each heme group attached. Okay, 4 molecules of hemoglobin has 4 heme groups attached. Hemoglobin consists of a protein called globin. Okay, globin is a containing pigment portion called heme. There is an iron containing pigment portion called heme. Each hemoglobin molecule has 4 heme groups. Each heme group can combine with or attach with 1 molecule of oxygen. So, 4 molecules of hemoglobin can attach with 4 molecules of oxygen. Each one attached with molecule of oxygen. The oxygen and hemoglobin combine in an reversible reaction. Oxygen and hemoglobin. Oxygen plus hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin reversible reaction, deoxyhemoglobin, that will change. The oxygen and hemoglobin combine in an reversible reaction. Oxygen transport, see picture. Hemoglobin is globular protein which is made up of 4 peptide chains. Each chain contains 1 heme group, ion group. Each heme group can combine with 1 oxygen molecule. That can be summarized. Hemoglobin plus oxygen, it gives hemoxyglobin. It reversible action, that means that equation or symbol it gives or it deoxygenated deoxyhemoglobin. Okay, oxygen transport. Hemoglobin plus oxygen, it gives oxyhemoglobin. Next, carbon dioxide transport. Carbon dioxide is one of the waste products of metabolism. Each 100 ml of oxygenated blood contains about 55 ml of carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is excreted by lungs. Carbon dioxide transport in blood, red blood cell at tissue capillary, red blood cell at lung capillary. Differentiate or see picture. Carbon dioxide plus water vapor, hemoglobin. In tissue capillary, but lung capillary, oxygen, that means hemoglobin, it gives carbon dioxide plus water vapor. It's also deoxyhemoglobin or carbaminohemoglobin. Okay. Control of respiration. The respiratory control is involuntary process that is not under our control. That means involuntary means not under our control. Okay, respiratory control is involuntary process that is not under our control. The rhythm of respiration is controlled by the portion of medulla oblongata and pons situated in pons. So, rhythm of respiration is controlled by our respiratory center is called medulla oblongata and pons situated in pons. The respiratory center, the size of the thorax is affected by the respiratory muscle. These are intercostal muscles. The respiratory center is formed by groups of nerve cells. Okay, respiratory center is formed by group of nerve cells. This controls the rate and depth of respiration. These are neurons present in the center. It is divided into following area. In medulla oblongata, 3 areas are placed. First one, the medullary rhythmicity area in medulla oblongata. This area controls the rhythm of respiration. Medulla rhythmicity area, rhythmicity is name given, control the rhythm of respiration in medulla oblongata. Next, the pneumothorax area in pons. It coordinates the transmit inspiration and expiration between alveoli and atmosphere. It coordinates the transmit inspiration and expiration between alveoli and atmosphere. Next one, the apneustic area. In the pons, it also coordinates the transmit inspiration and expiration between alveoli and the atmosphere. In the pons, place situated in area, apneustic area, it coordinates the transmit expiration and inspiration between alveoli and atmosphere. These chemoreceptors helps in control of respiration. Chemoreceptor is located in medulla oblongata. It monitors the level of carbon dioxide and oxygen. So, chemoreceptor, which place located? Medulla oblongata. It monitors the level of carbon dioxide and oxygen. It monitors the carbon dioxide and oxygen level. Okay. Chemoreceptor respond to change in pressure PCO2 and PO2. So pressure of carbon dioxide, gradient pressure of oxygen is called PCO2 and PO2. Chemoreceptor respond to change in PCO2 and PO2. The chemoreceptor is stimulated during hypercapnia. Hypercapnia means more oxygen in the blood. Okay. Hyper means increased. Capnia means carbon dioxide. More carbon dioxide in blood tissues is hypercapnia. Hypercapnia, that time chemoreceptor is stimulated when PCO2 is increased than 40 mm of Hg. So gradient pressure of carbon dioxide is increased than 40 mm of Hg. The chemoreceptors are two types: central chemoreceptor, peripheral chemoreceptor. So central chemoreceptor is located in medulla. It responds to change PCO2 and hydrogen ions in cerebrospinal fluid. Central chemoreceptor is located in medulla. It responds to change in PCO2 and hydrogen ion in cerebrospinal fluid. Peripheral chemoreceptor is located in aortic and carotid bodies. It is sensitive to change in PCO2 and hydrogen plus PO2 in blood. Okay. Peripheral chemoreceptor located in aortic and carotid bodies. It is sensitive to change the PCO2, hydrogen and PO2 in blood. Central chemoreceptor is located in medulla. It responds to change the PCO2 and hydrogen ion in cerebrospinal fluid. But peripheral chemoreceptor change the PCO2, hydrogen ion and PO2 in blood. Okay. Now impulses from the peripheral chemoreceptors conveyed by the glossopharyngeal and vagus nerves to the medulla. Now impulses from the peripheral chemoreceptors. So peripheral chemoreceptors conveyed by the some nerves to the medulla. This message conveyed by glossopharyngeal and vagus nerves. It stimulates the respiratory center. Isn't it? Now impulses from the peripheral chemoreceptors conveyed by the glossopharyngeal and vagus nerves to the medulla. So these nerves are convey message to the medulla. Medulla is stimulated. It acts the respiratory center. It stimulates the respiratory center. Other factors that influence respiration. These are many other factors which contribute to regulation of respiration. So the other factors are contribute to regulation of respiration. Number 1, limbic system. Emotional anxiety or anticipation of activity both may stimulate the limbic system. So emotional anxiety or anticipation of activity both may stimulate the limbic system. This sends the input to the respiratory center, increase the rate and depth of ventilation. More anxiety or any emotional activity, the sends the nerves impulses to the respiratory center. It increases the rate and depth of ventilation. Okay. Next factor influence respiration. Another one, blood pressure. The carotid and aortic sinuses contain baroreceptors. It detects the change in blood pressure. Okay, the carotid and aortic sinuses contain baroreceptors. It detects the change in blood pressure. It also affects respiration. For example, increase in blood pressure decreases the respiration. Decrease in blood pressure increase the respiration. So blood pressure is increases, it will be decrease the respiration. Blood pressure decreases, it will be increase the respiration. Okay. Increase respiration means decrease blood pressure. It affects the respiration. In the carotid and aortic sinuses contain baroreceptors. It can change the blood pressure. Blood pressure increase level ஆகும்போது respiration level குறையும். Okay. That means increases blood pressure, decreases respiration. Decrease in blood pressure increases the respiration. Next one, temperature. Increase in body temperature will increase the rate of respiration. Decrease in body temperature decreases respiratory rate. Next one, pain. Sudden severe pain causes apnea, but a prolonged pain results in increased respiratory rate. So, sudden severe pain causes apnea. Apnea means absence of oxygen in blood tissue. That means pain. Prolonged pain results in increased respiratory rate. So, to stimulate the nerve impulse sent to the medulla, respiratory function is increased. Next one, irritation of airway. Mechanical irritation of the patterns of all angles brings about and stoppage on breathing for a while. It leads to coughing and sneezing. So, some irritation or foreign material enter into the alveoli, that will cause irritation of the mucous membrane, or breathing is irritation. It leads to coughing or sneezing. Stretching of the anal sphincter muscle. This increases the respiratory rate. So, stretching of the anal sphincter muscle, it will increases the respiratory rate. The diagram of some of the nerves involved in control of respiration. Glossopharyngeal nerve and vagus nerve, carotid and aortic nerve, spinal cord, carotid artery. That means these are all the involved in the control of respiration or affects the respiration. See picture. Today we see diffusion of gases, internal and external respiration, oxygen transport and carbon dioxide transport, and factors influencing affect respiration or control of respiration. So, study well, take notes. Thank you.